Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thanks so much for checking this video out. My name is Heather. I am a Quantum Healing Hypnosis Practitioner. And in this video, I want to talk to you about expectations and your hypnosis session. So I have a little story to share with you. I've talked about this topic quite a bit off and on because I think it's important to share. Being a hypnosis practitioner, one of the things that I hear a lot is, I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to go into hypnosis, or I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get to my higher self. I don't think that I can do it. And I feel ya. I have struggled on and off with my own hypnosis sessions from the very beginning. And I'm almost a little grateful for that because it's allowed me to understand that it can, for some people, be a little more challenging. It absolutely can be done. I think everybody can be hypnotized and everybody can have an amazing session. But some of us, and I'm going to put myself into that category, some of us have to do a little more work and we have to shift our mindset a little bit more. And along the way, I've learned lots of lessons of what works and what doesn't work. And today I'm going to share a big one with you and something that I just recently experienced. So I had scheduled a hypnosis session for myself last week with an absolutely incredible SCHH practitioner. And oh my goodness, I had big expectations for this session. So I've been getting some information through other client sessions that has made me want to ask more questions. Occasionally, I will have my higher guidance pop in at the end of some of my client sessions. Sometimes it's my higher guidance, sometimes it's other beings, sometimes it's a message, that happens. But in one of my client sessions, who I've worked with a couple of times, she was bringing through from my guides some information about healing on the ships in the sky. I know that sounds a little crazy and out there, but of course it sparked my interest, the possible ability in the future for us to receive greater healing with the technology on some of these ships. And I know we're not ready to all hop up on the ships. I mean, maybe some of us are, but this information really sparked my interest. I became very curious. I started asking questions. And I wanted to know more, like, how does this work? What is somebody going to experience? Now, I'm recording this video before I release Kim's next video. Kim and I decided to get together on Friday, and we did another session. Absolutely incredible as usual. And in Kim's session, I do ask more about this process of healing on the ships. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about it, you can listen to Kim's next session. Let's see, I can't even think of what I named it. I don't have it right in front of me, so you'll know it. I give Kim's sessions all sort of a similar theme with the blue and the red energy colors. So just look for the latest one that I'm going to post. I'm going to post that on Monday. So I forgot where I was, but let me just go back. So I wanted to ask more questions about how I can do this and how does that work, and also wanted to ask about safety. And when we're doing this work, especially the kind of work that I'm doing where I'm talking with entities and I'm talking with different earthbound spirits, you have to really use your discernment, because you could always be talking to a being that is not of the highest light. That maybe has an agenda. And it's definitely, for us practitioners, it's a learning process to tap into our discernment and learn how to feel into the vibration and the frequency of the being we're speaking with. And it's always a process. We're always in that state of learning. But as this information came through, there's part of me that is incredibly excited, because I see so many people that are suffering, that have been through so many challenges in their life, that have looked for answers all over the place and have not gotten what they need. And they're dealing with so much. So we know that we're shifting into a higher state of consciousness, a higher dimension. We know that there are going to be eventually new technologies available for healing and more powerful ways to heal the body than what we have now. So of course I'm curious and I want to know more about healing on these spaceships, but also I want to make sure that before I do anything or even try anything, that I understand more about who am I connecting with? How does this work? What's going to happen? These are very important questions for me. So I wanted to experience it myself. I'm like, I'll be the guinea pig. I'll give this a try. I'm good. I feel very, very connected to my guides, and especially my Pleiadian guides. They pop into a lot of different sessions. I've connected with them many times now, and I know that they are extremely loving and supportive. So I went into this session that I had last week with this massive expectation, and I had been building it up. I want to go on a ship. I want to receive the healing. I want to know all about every detail of how this works. The list went on and on and on of what I wanted to experience in this session. And I had a long list of questions because, as you can only imagine, I wanted to know everything about it. And then there were lots of other questions of things that have come up in different sessions that I wanted to know more about. I also wanted to experience being on a ship. Being a practitioner, I get to facilitate so many incredible sessions, and we get to travel all over the galaxy and all over the world, and I feel very blessed to do that. But most of my lifetimes that I've seen for myself in my own hypnosis session have all been pretty basic earth lives. There's been some interesting ones that have come through, and those are wonderful because there's been healing that's needed to happen, something that I've needed to see. But in this particular session last week, I wanted to go on a ship. I've watched so many other people go on a spaceship and experience that, and I wanted that so badly for myself that I had set that expectation. I'm going on the ship. I absolutely knew I was going to get up onto that ship. So I went into that session with my long list of high expectations, and it didn't go anywhere. I didn't experience anything that I wanted to experience. And throughout the process, I finally got to a point where in my mind, I knew that I wasn't going to get to where I wanted to go. And I started to feel the frustration. I started to feel frustrated and disappointed because I wanted to experience something and it wasn't happening. And that's the thing about these hypnosis sessions. We can't control them. Although, I have a little bit of a control freak side to myself. My guides have even told me, Heather, you've got to let that go. You've got to flow a little bit more with these things. You can't control the sessions. I tried to do that early on. It's just part of who I am, I guess. But I felt incredibly frustrated and ended up just saying, this just isn't working today, and sort of gave up in the middle of it. And that was all just feeling that frustration and feeling like I'm not going to get myself back into the relaxed state to keep going. So I was like, let's just try again another day when I can get this out of my mind, this feeling of frustration. But as I came up and out and I started reflecting on, okay, what went wrong? Because I'm thinking, I was so prepared, I was meditating, I was doing all the things that I would recommend to my clients. And what was coming to me right off the bat was, you set the bar too high. you wanted to experience something and you didn't experience it, and you allowed the frustration to come in and take over, and that's a session killer right there. It's just gonna kill your session. You're not gonna go where you want to go. So in Kim's session, at the end when I'm asking, I also ask, okay, so what did I do wrong? That's what I said. What did I do wrong? And they said, first of all, we'd like you to reframe the way that you say that. You didn't do anything wrong. They did tell me that it was an experience that I needed to have in order to help me resonate more with the clients that also struggle. And I've truly felt that throughout my hypnosis journey, that in the early days, I did have a lot of problems. And a lot of it was similar to what I had this past week, was setting expectations of what I wanted to experience in one of these sessions, and it didn't happen. And when you're in one of these sessions, you're still very conscious. It's not as if you're completely out of it and you don't know what's going on. I know some people go very deep, and that's fantastic, but most of us stay very conscious. So when your session is not going like you think it should go, the conscious mind can very easily start to overthink things, and it can start to get in the way, and you can start to allow that frustration to creep in because you came to the session with an expectation of how that session should turn out. And if it's not, or if it's taking us a little bit longer to get you where you need to be, it's just going to allow those feelings of frustration to begin to creep in, and you'll start to feel overwhelmed, which will prevent you from going further into your session. So the session that I had before this last one, I had with a beautiful Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis practitioner named Alexandra Berardi. And I went into that session with a completely different attitude. I went into that session with whatever happens is going to happen. I didn't care if I saw a past life or didn't. I was like, I'm either going to connect really well with my higher self or I'm not. I had no expectations. I just literally told myself I'm going to experience whatever I'm going to experience, and I'm going to enjoy it. And do you know that to date, that was the best session that I had. I saw a past life more clearly than I've ever seen in all of my sessions combined. And I had an amazing connection with my higher guidance that just brought in a ton of information. And it was easy. And I thought, I can do this. It's not as hard as my mind has been making it out for so long. So I almost feel a little bit like this experience this past week was a bit of a lesson for me. It was something that I needed to learn, but it was also something to help me gain a deeper understanding for those of you who also have a little bit of a struggle, who have also had sessions where you feel like you didn't go anywhere or you didn't experience anything. Because also what the guide said in Kim's session, when I asked, what can you share with those who struggle? How can we get into the right state of mind in order to have these amazing journeys? And their suggestion was, we know it's hard, but you've got to let go of your expectations about what a session should be, because every session for every person is going to be different. And some people like Kim and some of these other amazing clients that I work with, they just have that natural ability to go into that relaxed state that allows them to very quickly and easily connect. And then there are those who are sort of in the middle, that it takes them a little bit longer, but they're still able to relax enough to let go, to surrender to the process, and to bring through that information. Then there are others of us who just have to do a little bit more work. We have to meditate a little more. We have to practice quieting our mind. We have to learn how to surrender to the session and let go and just be in a place of allowing it to unfold. I know that is so hard when you watch online or you listen to all of these amazing sessions that Practitioner shared. That was one of my biggest problems, is that I would listen to some of the big names out there, obsessively listening to their sessions because I just love them so much. And I went into my first sessions thinking, I'm having one of those sessions. And it just didn't work out quite that way for me. Now, as I've been doing it, I have learned that I absolutely can have one of those sessions. However, even when you've had an amazing session, I've now learned that you can still block yourself. You can still block yourself from having that session that you want to have. So what have I learned? I've learned that when you are preparing for your hypnosis session, I know it's a time investment, it's a financial investment. You want to do all the things, you want to have all the information, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. That's number one. Don't put so much pressure on yourself that it has to be a certain way that you get so nervous and you end up blocking yourself, which is easy. It's easy to do. Let go of how you expect your session to be. If you're like me and you watch all the other sessions, put it in your mind that, I may have one of those sessions, but I may not, and that's okay. I'm going to go into this experience and just allow whatever to come. I promise that you are going to receive benefit from your session, whether you have one of those sessions where every question gets answered beautifully and eloquently, or whether you just bring little bits and pieces of information in. You're still going to receive the healing. Your higher guidance is still right there with you. They don't ever not show up. They're always there. They are working on your body and helping you to get what you need. Some of us are just not always ready to experience what we want to experience. And so the biggest lesson for me is don't go into one of these sessions thinking this is what I have to experience or what I'm going to experience, because that will create some disappointment within you if you don't have that experience when you go into your session. Be in a place of just allowing, be in a place of surrender. Try to go into these sessions and think, this is going to be fun. I'm just going to see what comes through and allow it to unfold in whatever way is perfect for me. So I hope this was helpful. I do get a feeling sometimes that I have to experience something in order for me to be able to share it with you guys and help those of you who feel like you're sort of in the same boat that I am. I absolutely know I can have incredible hypnosis sessions. I've done it. And not just with the one. I've had other sessions that were really great. But I'm going to tell you, the best session that I had was the one I absolutely went into with zero expectations and in a complete state of surrender and allowing. And this last session where I had super high expectations and a long list of things that I wanted to cover and experience, well, that just didn't go anywhere. So I hope this information helps you. If you are thinking about having a hypnosis session and you've got some questions about it, please feel free to reach out anytime. You can reach me at heather@quantumhealingwithin.com. I'm happy to answer any questions. Sometimes I can provide you with some extra guided meditations to help you prepare for your session. Just feel free to reach out and let me know. And if you'd like to give a hypnosis session a try, I would absolutely love to work with you. Now, my schedule's booked up until I want to say through the second week of June. I do have a little bit of vacation scheduled in there. I'm super excited about that. I do need a little bit of a break, and I'm very looking forward to going and spending some time in the ocean. Ocean is high frequency and it recharges your batteries, and I can't wait. So if you want to go ahead and get on my schedule for June, I've got, I've got the last 2 weeks of June. I've got quite a few session dates available there. So go ahead and grab your session. And if those times on my list don't work, I do occasionally add an evening session. So if you're in Australia, I do a lot of sessions in Australia, and I know the times on my list, they don't work quite well for those of you in Australia, because I think that puts you in the middle of the night. Just reach out to me, send me an email, and I will set up an evening session for me, which is the following morning for you guys. So reach out. I'm always happy to try to adjust where I can. And I've got my email list below if you want to stay up to date on new things that are coming out, new sessions. I've got some exciting things coming down the road, some exciting things that I'm working on. So if you're interested in learning more about what that is, be sure to get on my email list. And also feel free to join the Telegram group where I share this information there as well. Thank you so much for listening to this video today. I hope it gave you a little more information to help you prepare for a session, and I will talk to you in the next video.